The smartest person in the room is sometimes the quietest one, not the one who talks the most, not the one who loves proving they are right, and not the one who always tries to stand out. That is exactly what makes so many people misunderstand intelligence. We often imagine that people with a high IQ should be easy to spot. They should sound sharp, react quickly, know everything, and constantly impress others. But reality is not that simple. Some people are very intelligent, yet appear quite ordinary on the outside. Sometimes they are even misunderstood, seen as distant, seen as overthinking, seen as uncertain, seen as strange. But those very things are sometimes signs of a very powerful mind. Intelligence is not only about how much you know, it is about how you see the world, how you process information, how you connect things other people overlook, and very often it shows up not in big moments but in very small daily habits. Here are 10 habits that are commonly found in people with high IQs. You may see some of them in yourself. The first habit: they spend a lot of time alone. Many people think being alone means being lonely, but for some intelligent people, being alone is when their mind works most clearly. No noise, no long conversations, no flood of social signals getting in the way, just space to think. Their minds usually do not sit still. They are always analyzing, connecting, imagining, examining, so silence does not make them uncomfortable. On the contrary, it feels like the ideal environment for the brain to work. They are not avoiding people, they just need private time to recharge mentally. The second habit: they are deeply curious. Not only curious about big questions like the meaning of life, they are also curious about very small things. Why did this person react that way? Why does a system work like that? Why are some highly capable people still unhappy? Why can the same sentence mean something different to each person? Intelligent people usually do not settle for surface-level answers. They want to look underneath. They want to understand the mechanism, the cause, the hidden pattern behind behavior, society, and even themselves. That curiosity keeps them learning even when no one asks them to. The third habit: they often talk to themselves. It sounds a little strange, but it is not a sign of oddness the way many people think. A lot of people with strong thinking abilities often whisper to themselves, remind themselves of things, or turn problems into spoken words. When thoughts are spoken out loud, the brain tends to organize information better. It helps them focus, follow the issue, and see the logic more clearly. Some people walk while talking to themselves. Some mumble while working. Some speak in full sentences before making a decision as if guiding themselves. On the outside, it looks ordinary, but inside, a very fast thinking system is running. The fourth habit: they are comfortable saying, "I don't know." This is a very different trait. People who understand little often feel they already know enough. People who understand more become even more aware of how vast the world really is. So, intelligent people are not too afraid to admit what they do not know yet. They do not see that as weakness. They see it as the starting point for deeper understanding. Saying "I don't know" does not make them smaller. On the contrary, it shows they are self-aware enough to see their own limits. And because they do not try to pretend they know everything, they keep growing. The fifth habit: they overthink small things. A sentence, a look, a decision, even a very small possibility can stay in their mind. Other people may look at them and think, "Why are you thinking so much about something like that?" But for a highly analytical mind, that is natural. They usually do not look in just one direction. They see many possibilities at once. They test different scenarios in their head. They weigh the consequences. They examine layers of meaning other people miss. This strength helps them solve problems better. But the downside is that it also makes them more tired, because their mind is rarely ever truly quiet. The sixth habit: they often have a strong sense of humor. It may sound unrelated, but it actually is. Humor is not just about being funny. Humor is the ability to see an unexpected connection between two things that seem unrelated. It is the ability to shift expectations at exactly the right moment, to notice absurdity that others miss. That is a form of very fast and flexible information processing. Many intelligent people are not loud or playful in an obvious way, but they often have a sharp, unusual sense of humor with excellent timing. They may say one short sentence and completely change the mood of a conversation, because they see the hidden structure of a situation faster than other people do. The seventh habit: they are willing to change their mind when new evidence appears. Many people think changing your mind means lacking conviction, But not necessarily. Some people cling to old views because of ego. Intelligent people, on the other hand, usually stay attached to truth more than to the feeling of needing to be right. When new information comes in, they update the way they see things. Not because they are weak, but because they are flexible. They understand that beliefs should only be temporary models for understanding the world, not prisons that trap their thinking. If you have ever met someone who can say, "Yes, I used to think differently, but now I see I was wrong," that is often a sign of a mature mind. By this point, you may have noticed something. Many behaviors of intelligent people are easy to misunderstand. Being alone gets mistaken for being cold. Asking questions gets mistaken for being difficult. Overthinking gets mistaken for being complicated. Changing their mind gets mistaken for being unsure. But sometimes behind those behaviors is simply a mind that is digging deeper than usual. If you see a few of these signs in yourself, comment number 8 below. I want to know how many people watching this video are the type who look quiet on the outside, but think constantly on the inside. The 8th habit: they tend to think more at night. When everything becomes quiet, their mind becomes more awake. During the day, there is too much noise. Work, messages, other people, responsibilities. But at night, when the world slows down, their brain starts connecting things it did not have time to connect earlier. Ideas appear, questions appear, reflections about life, people, and the future also appear. Many intelligent people do not stay up late because of their lifestyle. They simply feel that their mind works more clearly when everything becomes less chaotic. The 9th habit: they observe more than they speak. In a conversation, they do not rush to react. They watch first. They listen first. They notice who is shaping the mood, who is hiding emotion, who says one thing but is actually thinking something else. They do not just hear the content of words. They read the way something is said, the rhythm, the hesitation, the energy in the room. That is why they sometimes say very little. But when they do speak, it is often exactly right, because before speaking, they have already collected enough data. Other people may think they are quiet because they have nothing to say. In reality, they are processing far more than others realize. And the final habit: they are always searching for meaning. This may be the deepest part of all. Intelligent people are often not satisfied with surface-level answers. They do not just ask what is happening, they also ask, why is it happening? What does it say about people? What does it reveal about this life? That is why they often reflect on themselves, on relationships, on society, on the purpose of life, not always in some grand philosophical way. Sometimes it is just one small question that appears in the middle of the night. What are human beings really searching for? It is this need to find meaning that makes it hard for them to live superficially. They want to understand deeply, to touch what is essential, to find what is real in the middle of so much noise. And perhaps this is the most interesting part of intelligence. Intelligence is not just having a good memory, not just learning quickly, not just being good at math or sounding sharp. On a deeper level, intelligence is a mind that never stops exploring, a mind that always wants to understand more clearly, that questions things that seem too simple, that looks for patterns in chaos, that keeps asking questions even when everyone else has already rushed to believe they have the answer. So the next time you meet someone who is quiet, spends a lot of time alone, thinks too much, asks many questions, or changes their mind when new evidence appears, do not be too quick to judge them as strange. They may simply be seeing the world through a deeper lens, and maybe that person is you. If you made it this far, comment number 9 so I know you watched until the end. I would really love to know which of these 10 habits feels most like you. Thank you for watching the full video. If this message reflects the way you think, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next videos about psychology, intelligence, and how the human brain really works.